You ever get that feeling, that little flicker of a thought that there's something more to who you are? You know, like a deeper, truer self that's kind of hidden just beneath the surface of everyday life? Well, today, we're going to dive right into that feeling, because we're about to explore a really profound idea about that very spark that's inside all of us.
And check out how the author Paulo Wagner puts it. It's not some big, loud announcement, right? It's a quiet, powerful flash. It's that momentary glimpse of something absolutely timeless that we can feel, but we just can't seem to hold on to.
And that's really the big challenge, isn't it? We are just so surrounded by noise, by this constant storm of data and notifications and distractions. And these little windows to a higher knowledge, these flashes of real insight, they can get so easily lost in the shuffle. They just pass us by completely.
But what if I told you this isn't some new age idea that just popped up? This idea of an inner light, well, it's an ancient and universal truth. You can find it echoed in so many different languages and cultures all across human history. It's an idea that's been given a ton of different names, but it always points to the exact same experience.
So, the term that the source text uses is the centella divina, which translates to the divine spark. And what's really crucial here is that it's described as an intuitive feeling. It's not a logical conclusion you arrive at. It's a gut feeling that there's a sacred, superior part of our nature dwelling inside every single one of us.
And what's so fascinating is how you see this one idea pop up in completely different traditions. In Christianity, you hear the kingdom of God is within you. In the Vedic traditions, they talk about the higher self. In Zen Buddhism, it's our inherent Buddha nature. See, they're all just different signposts, all pointing to the exact same profound destination that's already inside of us.
So, of course, this leads us to the biggest question of them all. If the spark is real, and if it's really inside of us, how in the world do we actually connect with it? How do we find the switch to turn on that inner light?
Just think about that for a second. We're trying to use our limited, everyday tools to reach something that exists totally beyond them. How do you even begin to describe something that's bigger than words, older than time, and more fundamental than our physical world?
Well, humanity has definitely tried. Throughout history, we've developed what the author calls technologies for this exact purpose. Now, these aren't apps or gadgets, obviously. They're ancient methods like rituals, meditations, and shamanic practices, all of them designed to do one thing: quiet the outside noise so we can find that sacred space within.
And when people do make that connection, what does it actually feel like? Well, it's not some permanent state of bliss, apparently. It's much more like that initial quote, a momentary, super powerful flash of consciousness that just changes everything in an instant.
The first wave that seems to hit is this profound, almost overwhelming sense of gratitude. Just a pure and simple thankfulness for the fact that you exist at all.
And that's followed by this feeling of plenitude, of complete fullness. In that one moment, there's no lack, there's no wanting, there's zero emptiness. You just feel completely and totally whole. And finally, it all culminates in a moment of pure illumination, a flash of understanding so bright and so clear that it can actually overcome our deepest fear, the fear of death, by showing us a part of ourselves that exists way beyond our biological limits.
This experience is so universal that almost every tradition has its own name for it. Whether you call it Satori in Zen, Samadhi in yogic traditions, or Nirvana in Buddhism, they're all just attempts to put a label on an experience that is fundamentally beyond any label. Everyone who's touched it has tried to give it a name.
Okay, so if this experience is so amazing, why can't we just stay there? Why is it only a flash? Well, that brings us to the main obstacle, the constant conflict between our logical, rational mind and this deeper, intuitive part of us.
So on one side, you've got the rationalist view, that we're all just the result of pure chance. A cosmic accident born from a wonderful explosion. But on the other side, there's that persistent, intuitive feeling that something truly extraordinary, something sacred, is living inside our very nature. And these two views, they're in constant tension with each other.
And here is exactly why our rational mind struggles so much with this. It wants to label and define and categorize everything it comes across. But this divine spark, it's just bigger than all of that. It exists in a realm that our words and our concepts simply cannot contain. It's like trying to catch the entire ocean in a teacup. It's just not going to work.
So let's get to the final insight of this piece, which describes this inner nature in a really beautiful, poetic way.
It turns out it's not really about finding something new, but about recognizing the source of everything that already is. Oh, I just love this metaphor. This inner spark is like the pure, limitless potential of a child before the world starts telling them what they can and can't do. It's just this state of pure possibility where absolutely nothing is impossible.
And that, right there, is the ultimate paradox. This consciousness is vast enough to hold the entire cosmos, all the galaxies and all the stars, and yet its home is right here, dwelling silently inside your own heart. It is both infinite and, at the same time, incredibly intimate.
So why is this incredible truth so ridiculously hard to see? Well, the author gives us a final, pretty simple answer. We're trapped. We're caught in the sticky webs of our own minds, the constant planning and worrying and analyzing and judging that fills our heads and completely blocks our view of what is simple and true.
And that just leaves us with this one final, really powerful question to think about. Could it be that this divine spark, this little grain of light, isn't hiding in some far-off mystical place at all? What if it's right here, in plain sight? A truth so simple, so incredibly obvious, that we spend our entire lives looking right past it.